NBA fans, welcome back. It's Coach Tommy Two Guns, and I'm here for episode 2 on our NBA film dives, where we react to highlights and take a look at what happened in the NBA today. Today, we're going to take a look at a really interesting game against two, I believe, teams that are going to be there in the end, probably final 8 teams, and that's the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland. Can I speak? It's late. I'm filming this late. It's 10:40 at night. I'm sorry. The Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, this is a really interesting game, and as you can see, tensions fly. The Warriors are in a pretty good spot right now. Again, they're having trouble on the road so far, but they've won a couple games. They had a terrible road record last year. I forget what it ended up being, but they were 6-3 going in this game, and the Cavs are kind of still searching for their identity. They're 3-5, but they're a very talented team, and they've added some great players. I think one of the more underrated pickups in this offseason was Max Strus, who came over from the Miami Heat, was part of that Heat culture, that Heat system that went to the finals. And he played great, and you'll see some of his highlights tonight. But, you know, you kind of are looking at Karis LeVert getting involved, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland finding their stride. Where does Evan Mobley fit in? Jared Allen. And I just think that this is a team that's continuing to learn how to play together. I'm not really sure if they have figured it all out yet. There's a lot of moving pieces here. Meanwhile, you have the Golden State Warriors, who, I mean, we all know about them. Championship pedigree, kind of coming off an interesting season. The Warriors' big problem last year was their lack of size and just the health of their team. You know, Steph is doing amazing stuff at 35, but we just got to be honest. Draymond is not who he used to be, and Clay is not who he used to be. And you're kind of relying on Andrew Wiggins in a lot of cases as your second best player. But they tried to address some issues. They picked up Chris Paul, as we all know, which is kind of interesting. It seems like they're still working on that fit. And my favorite pickup from the Warriors that I think has kind of gone unnoticed, but as good as Dario Saric. I think that he fits that system perfectly. He's a great big. He's kind of a stretch four, which is exactly what the Warriors want. He can kind of fill that Draymond Green role when Draymond Green gets kicked out of a game, which, spoiler alert, he gets kicked out. We'll decide whether or not it's fair. But without further ado, we're going to look at a Saturday night game between two really good teams, in my opinion. So let's get it going and let's start the breakdown. Again, please comment. Let me know what you think. You know, make fun of my beard, make fun of the Giants hat, whatever you want to make fun of. But let's take a look at what's going on with this. So right off the bat, you're going to see some. So this is funny. Right off the bat, I mean, Kevon Looney jumped it up. Jared Allen wins this. I don't think the Warriors are going to win a lot of tips this year off the bat. They just don't have the size, and that is one of the things that plagues them. And I'm actually surprised they didn't go out and really try and address that. I mean, Dario Saric is a big, but he's not a conventional big. So, you know, tip ball, here we go. And we're going to get right into it here. So what you're going to see right off the back is a nice little kind of just come up, and this is a great play. So I don't know if this was a preset, but we take a quick look at it. It's pretty simple action here. We just kind of have a down screen into a pass. And you're just going to see we kind of go right into a dribble handoff, and we're just going to create an open look. But again, this kind of started from a faux down screen action. Max Strus came up over here, got the ball, and Strus is just going on a pick and roll with Mobley, putting them in that action. Steph has really improved on defense, and he actually plays this decently. He recovers back. But this is just a great shot from Strus. I mean, I take that back. It's not a great shot, but it goes in. And if it goes in, as coach says, if it goes in, it was a good shot. So good way to start the game off right there. So this, in my mind, is the X factor. This is Andrew Wiggins. And, you know, he kind of is who he is at this point. He's been in the league for 9-10 years at this point. But I think that the Warriors are really going to go how he goes, because there's an argument that on any given night, he's the Warriors' second best player. Love this guy. Love this guy. Love wherever Chris Paul is. Is that Chris right there? I don't know. Love Chris Paul, but I think that when the Warriors play best and when they won the championship, Andrew Wiggins was their second best player. So getting Andrew a nice early touch, get him involved in the offense. Great kick out and old backpack Draymond, I call him, because it looks like he's got a backpack on whenever he shoots. I love him, but hey, Draymond is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I love this guy to death. I love the energy. I think sometimes he gets a little too emotional. I do think he does it on purpose. I think he knows what he's doing. But hey, if Draymond's hitting that three, this is a dangerous team. because that's somebody else who you have to guard at the 3, which just opens up more space for these two killers right here, Steph and Clay. So Draymond, bottom of the net. Nice kick out, nice find from Andrew Wiggins. All right, let's take a look here. This is a really beautiful inbounds play, and it's really simple. So all that you're going to see is Jared comes down, he sets a down screen, and kind of creates faux action. So it's kind of, you're trying to draw Clay to a denial out here, which he does, and then you just hit the big man, and then Clay's off balance, and then you just kind of get a pick and roll here with one of the players off balance, which is all you need in this league. All you need is trying to create somebody off balance so that you can create a lane of the hole. So again, this is a really nice inbounds play that I really like. Down screen to there, Clay's off balance, and now he's going downhill. And look at Clay did not defend this badly. Clay is a great defender, and he gave effort. He's trying to get back, but you have a 2-on-1 right here. You got Donovan coming in if Andrew steps over, and this is going to 9 times out of 10 lead to a bucket. Love Looney, but he just doesn't have the size to really affect shots. But that, really quickly, let's take a look, because I do love the Warriors, and they do this all the time. Look. Bucket gets scored on them. Here we go. Bucket gets scores. And look, Draymond, right out. Let's go. Let's go. We're pushing. We're pushing. I love when the Warriors push the pace. This is just Donovan Mitchell being excellent. I mean, shooters, take a look at this. Look at this. Between the legs, crossover. That's just Donovan Mitchell being an excellent smooth player. His shot is so smooth. Okay. Andrew Wiggins, drive, loses the ball. I mean, shooters, please pay attention. Look at what Steph does here. And this is one of the things that makes him so excellent and so hard to guard. Andrew gets downhill. Look at Steph. He's just watching. He's right here. He's watching. Okay, ball's coming loose. Ball's coming loose. And look at, you have player watching. Player watching. He's kind of got his back turned, but he's going to turn around and watch. And watch what Steph does. He sees Andrew gets it, and he sees that Andrew is in a really bad, I mean, he's underneath the basket right now, right? And look what Steph does. He's going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 players are all looking at him. I'm just going to find some space. And Steph is so good at moving without the ball. That's what you need to understand as a shooter, is you can't just be a great shooter off the dribble. You got to find yourself open looks. And watch what Steph does. He's just going to flash to open space. And that's too much. I mean, it's not bad defense, but if you can't smell what Steph had for breakfast, you're too far away from him. You need to wake up and guard this guy in the morning. And that's just going to be a bucket, bottom of the net. And again, this is what's so good about the Warriors, man. And this is why I really wish they had a better big presence, because look at this right here. Okay, here's Steph being excellent again. But look at this. If you play the Warriors, you have to live with this. You have to live with whatever this is. But look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Back is turned. 5, looking right here at Kevon Looney, who I love, but is not the threat that he's not the post threat. He does not warrant 4 players. And what does that lead? It leads this man and a man out of picture right now. You can't even see, wide open to make a play. This is why you cannot collapse against the Warriors, because you're going to get stuff like this. I mean, decent closeout. Steph could have taken a dribble and shot that, but look, Clay, oh, yeah, okay. Well, there's nobody guarding me. I'm just going to take a step out and just bury this. And that's exactly what happens. No closeout, and Clay's going to make that 9 out of 10 times. If you don't close out on him, that's easy money. Okay, let's take a look here. This is excellent. And again, look at what happens right away. Great shot, great effort by Draymond. Again, one of my favorite players in the NBA. But again, as soon as the ball comes out, Steph's moving. He's moving out, and he's actually pointing to Clay. So Strus, Mitchell, they've got to come out and guard, but he sees Clay is wide open right here, and he's relocating out to the 3. And that's why securing the rebounds against the Warriors are so important, because of the weapons they have off the offensive rebound. Again, look at, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in the paint right now. There is not a single player on the Cavs who doesn't have a foot almost in the paint. Okay, you can fight with me over that. That's like those CAPTCHAs that you see when you're verifying you're not an AI, and it's like it's a light post in there, and you just start sweating. You have the Key and Peele meme where you're sweating. Okay, it's not in the paint, but it basically is. You got 4 players there, and Draymond is just going to look. Steph sees, he kind of cuts in front to create space, and that's just too much space for a shooter like Klay Thompson. Misses it, but great follow. Again, it's not about the make, it's about the space. Really simple action, and the Warriors do this a ton. This is some early offense, but look, this is just so simple. It's just a flare screen. So a flare screen, if you don't know, is kind of the opposite of a down screen. So let's flip over here. I use the word flare screen a lot. So a flare screen or a down screen is just this, right? If one has the ball, down screen is just 5 comes up. A flare screen is different. A flare screen is, let's say, 1's here and 2's here and 5 here. 5 comes over and sets a back pick this way. So this player can come over the top and create, you can look for there for an open 3, or, you can even go all the way around and dive the hole. And the Warriors do this a ton because who are the people that they're screening for? Arguably the greatest shooting backcourt. I wouldn't even say arguably, the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. And you got Steph and you got Clay, and these flare screens are absolutely lethal. And that's what they do here. It's just very simple action where you see this flare screen come out, give Steph ball in space. You got an off-balance defender, and Steph is just going to capitalize. I mean, he doesn't need to shoot it every time. And Steph's driving ability is wildly underrated, in my opinion. Okay, again, nice simple action, and you see a lot of this in the NBA. Sarge comes down, sets this down screen. Chris Paul comes off a dribble handoff, and we're just going to play basketball, right? We're going to have a nice little cut. It's a really beautiful cut by Kuminga, I believe. I believe that's Kuminga. This is Chris Paul running with the second team. And then again, underrated pickup, Dario Saric. There's not a lot of 4s out there that can do that. Not a lot of 4s that can get out there and get past a big man. Okay, this is just end of first. And this is just, that's the LeBron James special. Everybody loves that play in there as LeBron when he kind of looks at the ball for 5 seconds and then pulls it back and shoots it. Sneaky. Chris Paul's been doing that for a long time. I think LeBron got it from Chris Paul, but kind of just lures Jared Allen to a false sense of security and buries it. And we're 31-30 at the first quarter, so we got a close game. Darius Garland is an excellent player. That's just great. I mean, look at that pass. He made this pass in midair, right? Good defense, goes follow your shot. I don't think he touches the ground, but he sees this. Again, there are 5 players in here, and he sees that, but one of the nice things is having Evan Mobley as the guy receiving this pass, because he's got the hands, he's got the reaction time, and great play. And again, what's killing the Warriors? Rebounds. Push forward. I love Max Strus, man. This is such a good pickup. This player right here, he's going to really help out the Cavs, and I love to see him getting playing time. One of the things that's happened with some of the Heat players in the past is once they get outside of the Heat culture, they don't really live up to the hype. A couple players that I can think of are like Derek Jones Jr., Tyler Johnson. That name is a blast from the past. You kind of see these Heat players not necessarily perform, so I love seeing him play great basketball like this. It's just a great transition 3. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is where it starts. So Draymond, and I'm not sure who this is. Is this Dean Wade? They get into it and they go down, and yeah, it's Niang, George's Niang. And yeah, okay, so I think it was just a foul, right? Draymond's fine. We're fine. Hey, no problem. We're just talking. We're talking, and then you're going to see, we're still okay here. Hey, how's your mother doing? Not bad. No, well, I just saw her the other day, and she seemed like she wasn't doing okay. No, she's really doing okay. Well, your mother's okay, and there's the T. He just said the magic word. He said something. I can't read lips. I'm not that skilled. Maybe a foul, but you can't talk to a referee like that. Just take it and move on, Draymond. Okay, this player is very underrated. This is a man by the name of Karis LeVert. He's been around for 7 years. Came over from Indiana in 2021, I believe. Played with them all last year. He's had some serious health injuries. I forget what he had, but he had like a real health scare. But he is a great energy player and a really talented offensive player. And look, between the legs, crossover, Hezzy, just really beautiful on a big. That's just a great play. Probably not a foul. I thought Looney did okay on defense. But, here we go. Here are the Cavs taking the lead. This is really simple and beautiful. It's just early offense. Just look at this. This is just, I have Steph Curry on my team. Stop him. You can't. Just a high pick and roll. And now I'd love to see, the problem with Steph is that you cannot play back. And so Dean Wade, love you to death. If you play off Steph Curry, that's a 3. Right? So you have to come up and do this. But then Steph is he's a good enough driver that he's just going to blow by. That's just a great play. Okay, this is a really, really pretty play, and I like this. And again, it's just super simple, but the problems it causes. Like, we're just going to do this, and then we're going to have a double pick here. And Chris is going to accept it, and then we're going to play. If you help off, or you help here, Steph's going to pop and he's wide open. If you don't help off, Chris Paul is a good enough shooter to get there, or to draw help and kick, and you have a lethal shooter in the corner. Look, you got to think, it's like a chess game. You got to think 3 steps ahead. Chris Paul gets over the screen and doesn't get help because we're worried about Draymond rolling and Steph popping. Then Dean Wade has to come up to help, and then Niang has to come up to help. So Chris makes that pass there, that pass, and you have a lethal shooter in the corner wide open for a 3. That's not what happened, but it just goes to show you what all this action is trying to do. So here we go. We're going to see what happens here. But Chris just gets space, gets a big on him, and, makes... Oh, and this is another beautiful thing I want to hit. Look at what Draymond does. Bigs, it is so much easier to score the way that Draymond does here. Look at what Draymond does. He is going to park his butt right here. And this is called creating an angle. I learned this when I was in college. And basically, what you see a lot of traditional posts do, we'll go over here. For all intents and purposes, let's say that 5 is the defender and 4 is the offensive player. And now what you see a lot of players do is you have one come over here and he's going to try and make an entry pass, right? And you just have him playing against your back. What really good bigs did, and the one who, in my opinion, was one of the greatest I've ever seen do this, was Doug McDermott while he played at Creighton. That's a blast from the past. Doug McDermott, I believe, is a San Antonio Spur now. But what he did is, instead of just getting the ball here and then having to make a play, he would create angles. So what you're going to do is you're going to seal off this guy, and then you make that pass there, and you have a layup. You're going to get fouled over the back, right? Or vice versa, Let's say ball's up top. Again, 5's our defender. If you can create a seal angle there, look it. It's wide open. Actually, one player who I saw on film the other day do it was Zach Collins for the Spurs. And I'll do a Spurs breakdown because I want to take a look at Wembanyama eventually. But for right now, this is what you need to know. Look at that. It's just a layup. So watch Draymond here, and it's beautiful. It doesn't lead to a bucket because you have Wiggins down here, but he creates the seal. And if there is not a big here, if there's not these two mucking it up, Dean Wade, and I think, is that Wiggins? I think that's Wiggins. I mean, that's a dunk. That's a layup. But it still leads to something good here. Watch this. Chris Paul finds him, and then a dump down, and Draymond. I mean, that's beautiful. That's one of the reasons why I love Draymond. He's such a smart player. Emotional, yes. Smart, incredibly. Look at this. Is so simple, man. And this is, if I'm Steve Kerr, I wake up every morning and I do 5 Hail Marys, and I say, thank you for giving me Steph Curry. This is not a fancy play. This is nothing special. This is a dribble handoff in early offense. And look at what Steph does. You give him, you hesitate for a hair of a second. You hesitate for a second. He's going to punish you. Bucket. God, he's such a good shooter, man. And he's not just a great shooter. He's a great player. Okay. See, right now, very interesting. We're in a zone. Now, how do you attack a zone? You got to flood strong sides, and you got to look for holes in the zone. So let's see how they handle this here. Well, okay, this is not, we're going to come back to another zone play. This is just, Donovan Mitchell, you're an amazing offensive player. Just go play. But there is a zone that they run that's really great too. This is a really nice play. Let me take a look at this. Okay, so what you have is you have very interesting action. So basically, you have a down screen here, right? You have this down screen by Clay, which is going to bring up Steph. Now, optimally, it didn't go quite exactly as planned because I think that they were trying to pull Karis LeVert out here a little bit more so that this would open up, but it still works. So Clay down screen, Steph's going to pop out here, and then you're going to see, sorry, I don't know who that is. I apologize. And he's going to down screen LeVert, and you're just going to get an open pop for Clay. And this is all just action to get open looks for the best shooters in the world. Steph comes up, and look, great down screen. That's too much space. Well, pump fake, bucket. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, dribble handoff. Let's see. I mean, again, that's just a great take from Karis LeVert. Very underrated player. I've always liked Karis LeVert when he played for the Nets and the Pacers. He was very, very good. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so this is a cool action. So let's take a little quick breakdown. So starts out, it almost looks like they're gonna set an elevator screen, which we'll move over to my handy dandy. How are they set up on the court? Okay, so you have Donovan with the ball here, and you have your 4 and 5 here, and you got your 3 out here. So kind of what happens here is you have 2 cut. Where's my pen? Thank you. You have 2 cut. And 4 and 5 kind of look like they're going to turn and set an elevator screen for 2 to come back up. But instead, they turn and they set a double down screen, right? And then 2 is just going to fill out to the corner. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to open up 3 for this pop. So let's take a look over here. And that's exactly what happens. You see Mobley, Andrew's kind of helping out deep here. And this is Strus, a great 3-point shooter. Kevon Looney's doing the right thing. He's in help because he's not worried about Jared Allen right here. Jared Allen right here is not a threat. Jared Allen here, huge threat. Here, not a threat. But it kind of leaves open this. You have one guy guarding 3 right now in a sense. And you're just going to see Max Strus comes over the top. And, I mean, he just is going to make a little dribble penetration. That's a great play. But again, it's all about space. Even if he doesn't take that 3 out there, even if he doesn't take this 3, he gets Andrew on his heels. He dribbles in, finds space, and makes a great shot. I love Max Strus. I think he's playing great basketball right now. Okay, great steal. Get up. Okay, this is what I call the Steph Curry effect. Just watch this. This is disgusting. Steph Curry is 1 on 4. It's 1 on 3, you could say, right? We'll take a Garland out of this, but he's got 1, 2, 3. Mobley, Jared Allen, and I think that's Niang. Now, what Steph does, he doesn't go here. Why doesn't he go middle? Because you have this guy's going to pinch in, Allen's going to step up, and Mobley's going to step over here. And now you really are playing 3-on-1. What he does is he isolates a player. He goes to the wing. You got 1 on 4, right? Well, I think you have a player down here. But for all intents and purposes, he isolates it, and he makes it into a 1-on-1 game. And he just puts a great move on Strus. But look, because he went this way, Mobley now isn't there. Allen can't get there. Mobley's just going to drop back and do the right thing. Allen can't get over there quick enough, and he just hits him with a step back. That is how you attack a 1-on-3. And I mean, again, you're not as good of a shooter as Steph Curry. And that's not to be disrespectful. Nobody's ever been as good as a shooter as Steph Curry. It's the way it is. Again, look at it. This is not complex action. This is not complex action. This is one here. You have Steph. Here, let's go back to the beginning. This is not difficult to run. This is just, I have a better shooter than you do. Look, Andrew dribbles the ball up. He's going to pass it to Looney after kind of a down screen. It wasn't really, but what you're really trying to do is get Steph in this area. Because Steph in this area is very dangerous. Because you know screens are coming, screens are coming, screens are coming. And even though they know that they're coming, watch what happens. Pass, down screen. This isn't bad defense. I guess you could say that Niang, Strus could have stepped out. But again, then you're letting Wiggins go back door. Right through the screen. It's not a bad closeout. Steph is just a better shooter and won. And we have a 6-point game. And this is where it gets interesting. Okay. I want you to take a look at my man right here. I want you to take a look at right here. This is a layup. This is performative. This is so that when they get into film session with me and you and coach, they can say, look, coach, I ran back. I tried to get back. But watch Draymond is comedy, man. Watch what Draymond does right here. He doesn't need to do this. Boom. Shoulder low. Let's watch that in real time. Right here. Oh, yeah, okay. Wasn't much, but it was enough. And Donovan Mitchell took exception to it. And Donovan Mitchell is a smart enough player that he knows, if I go make trouble, they're going to replay this. So what's he do? He sees Draymond gets ball, he beelines, and okay, now it's a tussle. Now we're talking. And look at, he's pointing down there. He says, you know what you did down there? And Draymond is comedy, man. Look at him. He's going to have his mouth open. Yeah. I love it, man. Draymond is comedy. This is just basically where they say, yeah, common foul on Donovan, but we also look back and saw, oh, Draymond, you can't do that. So Draymond gets assessed a technical, gets thrown out of the game, and of course needs to let the audience know about it. You'll see him. Draymond is so funny, man. I love Draymond. And, here we go. And the Warriors are going to make a little run here. Again, this is just great early offense. This is just looking for space. I mean, just, again, look at this. Steph's got the ball down. Look at this is why Steph is so dangerous. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 2 players guarding and you have 4 sets of eyes on him. And what's that allow? That allows Paul to sneak in here, and Kuminga is smart enough to just go right here. By the way, Kuminga, really excellent summer league. I really hope he takes a step forward this year. I hope Steve Kerr trusts him because I think he's a very talented player. And look right here, and now you kind of got a 2-on-1. But again, look, it's because of this. It's because you got 2 players guarding Steph. Now you could say bad transition, but again, that is the fear that Steph strikes into opponents' hearts. And then Chris Paul, being the savvy veteran of, about 72 seasons in the NBA, it's just, okay, you're going to jump? Well, okay, that looks like a layup to me. And Kuminga's going to go dunk that because he's a freak athlete. And 8-point game. And now we're down to a 6-point game. This is really nice. Again, Max Strus just makes a great find. And again, Evan Mobley is really good. And bigs, look at this. This is called comboing, right? So what you're going to see is if a guard drives, you should not stand here. You need to combo. So as a big, what you want to do is you want to combo into open space. So you go here, Andrew's going to step up, which means space is going to open up here. Now, Kuminga's going to come and sit down, but look at what Mobley does. He still finds open space. This is when you're big, and I've played enough basketball to high enough level that this is ingrained in me. You find space. Pump fake, great move, and one. Evan Mobley's a really good player, man. Really, really good. Again, this is just, how do I strike fear into my opponent's hearts? And this is why it's so hard to guard Steph. I'm not going to belittle it because I know I've been talking for a long time, and this is already a long video. But watch. Steph starts to play over here. He's going to get a down screen. He's going to come all the way around right here to get an open look. And that's why Steph is so dangerous, because he moves so well without the ball. Watch, down screen, not open. I'm going to keep moving. And now look at, I have wide open space at the elbow. And Steph Curry shooting from the elbow. He could do that in his sleep. Again, very simple action here. It's just a dribble handoff. But Steph creates so much fear. And again, I talked about it in my last video. You got to go over the top on these screens, because if you go under, Steph's just going to sit right there and take that shot. And he's going to make it 5 out of 10 times. You can't give that up. But again, Steph just takes his time, realizes he's got a defender on his back, not a lot of space, but he's just going to take a dribble in, find some space. Bucket. Steph is absolutely incredible and very savvy IQ-wise. I think he doesn't get enough credit for his IQ on the basketball court. Starting the fourth quarter. Okay, here we go. I told you, we're going to see a zone. Yes, let's see how they exploit it. Okay, so what they're in right now, we're going to bring it up here. So basically, you have the Warriors are in a 3-2 zone, right? It's a little cluttered, but we'll add some color in there, right? We'll add some color. So here's your defenders, right? Right here. So what you're trying to do in a 3-2 zone is overload a zone and look for space. Those are the 2 key factors of breaking a zone. So what you're going to do is you have basically over here, you have 2 players guarding 1. And you're going to try and exploit that. If we look back over here, you have Chris Paul is guarding nobody, and Dario Saric is got a high here, but you have an overload over here. Look at, you have 1 guarding 2. Now, that would not be a problem if the screen wasn't set. Because if the screen wasn't set, you have 4. I believe that's Moody could just follow Garland, and he wouldn't have to step up and help out. He could just slide back over to Donovan Mitchell. But because this high screen is set right here, right, by Jared Allen, that forces 3 to step up and help out, which in turn forces 5 to step out and help out, and the ball goes there. And then now you just have 1 trying to guard 2 here. And this is how you crack a zone open. Now watch what happens. It's very beautiful. You have the high screen. 2, just like I said, he's going to step up because that's a great shot. He kind of pump fakes, draws it. Donovan Mitchell, Draymond steps up, and this is too late. This man is paid money to sit in a corner and shoot threes. Dean Wade. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Way too long of a closeout, and that is how you crack a zone open like an egg. Let's get through some of these highlights here. This is simple, just a high pick and roll out here. Jared Allen goes down. Great action, really pretty action. Nothing fancy here, but basically what you're going to see is just a high pick. Darius is going to come down, then Jared's going to go set a down screen and try and free up Max Strus. And Max Strus does it, makes a great pass. Max Strus is playing great, man. Look at what Max Strus does here. He seals him off, right? This might have been a back screen play, and then Max just felt something. I think that maybe that's what they were going for here. But Max says, okay, you're on my back. I'm just going to seal you. And Jared Allen sees it and makes a great play. Now, Klay comes over and helps. What Max could have done is dumped it off. It basically ends up working out that way. But look at all this space. If he catches here and he's, 6'10", that's a dunk. Max Strus, great seal, misses, but Mobley's right there to finish up. And again, it's because Klay had to come over and help out and couldn't box out. All right, this is just a really beautiful play. So this too high set, I call it UCLA action, and that's when you have the bigs, two high bigs right here, and you have two down here, and you have a point up here. This is, double post high or UCLA action is what I always called it. And then look at this. This is so pretty. Again, this is Max Strus, he is not getting enough credit. Look right here. This might be a design play, but what's going to happen is you're going to have him come off here, and Jared Allen is looking out here for this down screen and do a Max Strus 3. Look at Wiggins, though. He's anticipating, and what Max Strus is going to do is going to say, oh, you're going to cut me off? Okay, well, you're trying to stop the 3, but you forgot about the other point that you can score, and that's the 2. And he's just going to fake and then cut back here. And it's such a high IQ play. Look at this. Takes one step, thinks he's going to have to come off, and look at it. Andrew Wiggins is doing a surfboard, right? He looks like he's on a surfboard. Just beautiful. And that's a reverse dunk. Dunk that. Klay, again, one-on-one, good follow. Dirty secret about Klay, don't tell anybody. Come here. He's not the greatest finisher around the rim. Klay has never been a great finisher, but sticks with it and, gets his miss and puts it in. No problem. All right, we're going to wrap this up here pretty soon because now game's getting out of hand. I mean, that's just great offense. If you have a big that can make that pass, you're doing really well. Nothing fancy here, just a little post up for Klay. I actually like seeing Klay on the post. Great follow by Wiggins. But I think Klay on the post, he's got some crafty little post moves. Nothing super fancy, but he can get the job done. And again, this is just really simple action. This will probably be the last one that I break down. Just look, it's just real simple. We're just going to hand it off to the big or pass it to the big, and then we're going to set double down screens for the 2 best shooters in the history of the NBA. One of them's going to get open, and if they don't, we're just going to go pass them the ball, and then Looney's going to go set a pick here or here, and then we're just going to play basketball. Right there, and Klay just gets a nice look at it. And that's as close as it gets. From here, again, this is last thing I'm going to touch on, and I know I've said that a couple times, but this is just how you pick apart a double team. Double team comes, but look, you're just going to find the open man. Double teams, look, Steph is pointing, which is true. Klay's got to come over in a true double team, but, Klay doesn't see that, and this is just an open look in the corner, right? And I mean, it's not Steph's fault. Garden 2, it's not really even Klay's fault. It's just, that's why you don't see double teams too often in the NBA. And at this point, game's out of reach. And now here come the subs. So there's my breakdown of the highlights. Again, the things that I really want to hit on is, one, how good Max Strus looks in a Cleveland Cavaliers uniform. I think that he is a huge player, and I love to see him playing up to his potential. I think once the synergy of this Cavs team works out, once they get some vocal leadership going, they're going to start rolling. I really think that this team has potential to be, like I said, one of the final 8 teams playing in the NBA. As for the Warriors, I don't put a lot of stake on this. Draymond got ejected, as Draymond does. I love Draymond to death, but God, he's an emotional individual. And Steph played good. I just think the Cleveland Cavaliers outplayed them. No big deal. It's a regular season game, but the only other thing that I wanted to highlight is just how much of a luxury Steve Kerr has, having Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the fort. Those are my thoughts. That's been the breakdown of this film. I'm Coach Tommy Two Guns. I want you to have a wonderful day. And like always, please stay golden.